Alright guys, so today we're going to try to get rid of this rake. I don't know if you can see, but front, it's definitely lower than the back. I don't know if the camera does it much justice. But two, I mean, it's kind of weird when the hood on your Jeep is like almost at your waist, like a little, that's belly button, but still. So what we're going to do is we're going to be installing this. This is a Terraflex Leveling Kit. The back has like a 1-inch spacer on there, and then the front has 2 spacers. You can choose how much you want to go. I think each one of these is roughly an inch or so, too. An inch, something like that. So we're going to run both on the front, and then we'll see how it looks. And then if we see we need, oh yeah, too, the kit doesn't just come with the spacers, comes with new sway bar end links, which, I mean, my Jeep's got 236,000 miles on it, so it could definitely use new stuff, sway bar end links. So we're gonna install this. Shouldn't be too bad. I'm gonna kind of run you through it a little bit. I'm sure there's a million videos of the same thing, but this Jeep has 230 some thousand miles. I'm sure there's gonna be some surprises when we get things open or not, because so far this thing's been super reliable. No warning lights since I got it. Everything seems to work, which is great. I'm really happy about that. But yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna lift this up, take the front tires off, and get started on the front, and then we'll see what we find behind the tires and stuff. All right, cool, let's get started. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Let's measure and see where we're at dimensions wise on the Jeep. So let's see, from the floor, bottom of the body, 17 inches. The floor across the middle of the wheel, here we're 35 1/4. And then we have the tire to the flare, we have 5 inches in the front. So we'll see how that all changes. Let's take a look at the back. So from the tire, the flare, we got like 5.5 inches. From the floor across the middle to the center, 35 3/4. And from the floor to the bottom of the body, we have 17.5. So I guess there's not that much of a rake. Not as much as I thought. Maybe I'm just making excuses to do something to the Jeep. So we'll find out how it looks after. Alright, so whew, I don't know if that time lapse caught it, but those lugs were super tight. Glad I loosened them up before lifting the car. Otherwise I don't think I could have. Got the Jeep up on jack stands. Be cool if it were that tall. Much bigger tires needed then. Anyway, I'm gonna take off probably gonna start with the driver's side and start disconnecting stuff. Go to the passenger side, disconnect some stuff. I'm gonna try time lapse it. Don't know if my camera is gonna cooperate with that. Let's see. Alright guys, so this is what we got under here. I mean, this is kind of why it's hard to dodge this car, and why, even though it had a lot of miles, I felt pretty good about buying it. It's got brand new brakes, brand new brake lines. Shocks look older, but I'm not too worried about them. If anything, that's an easy thing to replace. Looks like they put new coils on them, so probably at some point it needed some new coils. Sway bar end links don't look too bad, but yeah, and I mean I know some of you are looking at this and being like, why would you buy this? But keep in mind, this thing's full of salt right now because I'm driving it, and part of living in the Midwest is there's salt, and it sucks, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. Not looking forward to removing those front bumper bolts. Probably won't be removing them, but gonna loosen the shock, loosen the sway bar end link. Hopefully when I do that on both sides, it'll give me enough play so I can start dropping this down without having to loosen the panhard bar or the lower control arms, because I'm not looking forward to doing that stuff. But let's do the other. Well, I sprayed everything with WD-40. I'm gonna do the others, take the wheel off the other side, spray everything down, then come back to this side once the WD-40 soaked in, and then start working. And that should be pretty good. Let's get working on that. All right, guys. So after a little bit of hard work, not too much, got everything off. Got the sway bar end link, got the shock off. That allowed me to just push this down. I didn't even need a buddy. Just pushed it down and came out. Got the spring over there. We're gonna put the spacers on in a minute. And there's an isolator up here I need to get off, but before I, just slides off. Okay. Before we get too far into this, I'm gonna take apart the other side so we can start putting everything back together. Everything seems to be going pretty smooth. All right, other side's next. All right, guys. Had to change the battery on the camera. Got the other side out. Now, time to put it all back together. Got the sway bar end links to put on. Before that, though, we're going to definitely put the coil spacers on. I mean, all we really had to loosen, or take off even, were the sway bar end links. And I mean, if you're keeping those, you just need to take off the bottom bolt. And the bottom bolt on the shocks. Other than that, in the front, everything is still there. Later, to fix the steering wheel, we'll have to loosen the tie rod end. Got that soaking. It's gonna soak up that beautiful can of stuff, and it'll loosen up. But now we're gonna put the coil spacers on. So there's this, pretty much the way that's gonna go is Terraflex has it so you can run either one or two of these. I'm gonna run both, and then I'm gonna put the spring isolator over everything just to help with vibrations, I guess. And then we're gonna put everything back in, and we're gonna put everything back together. We're gonna lower it down. We're gonna see how much taller it is. Hopefully it's pretty even with the back, then we don't touch the back, but chances are it won't be, so, and we'll worry about the back then, which is a similar process, similar suspension. It's like a 3-link or 4-link, whatever. I'm not even sure. But right now, drink some coffee, take a minute, and then put it all back together again. All right, let me get started. All right, guys, so got everything in. A few tips, I guess. Make sure you put some lubricant spray on both this tower and your spacer so they fit in nice. I didn't need a buddy. I just kind of sat on this, pushed it down, and jammed it in. I did the passenger side first because the passenger side has these bars in between. If you do it first, I just feel like, why add more stress to it? Just do it first. Put new, taller tie rod ends. They came with new nut and everything for the top. You have to use the old bolt for down at the bottom, so don't cut off your old bolts. Got the shocks installed. I just need to tighten everything down. Same thing on the other side. And after that, might have to adjust the steering, but I'm going to do that with the car on the floor so I can see where the steering wheel's at. And after that, then we are done with the front. And we'll see how it looks. If we need to, we'll start working on the back. Hopefully it looks even enough where we don't have to do that. Could always do it in the summer, but you know, it's 30 degrees outside. It'd be nice not to have to deal with it right now. But then again, it's a little bit of outside therapy when you live in Chicago and the weather is not amazing. It's nice to be able to do stuff outside. Luckily I got this carport. Sadly it doesn't have any walls on the side, so it just lets all the cold air in. I could put a heater here and try to pretend like it's gonna warm up, and it would. You get that nice warm breeze every once in a while, but I didn't. So I'm gonna tighten everything up, put the wheels back on, and see how this thing looks. All right, guys, just finished. Ooh, almost tripped over some lug nuts. Just finished tightening everything up. Gonna put the wheels on and see what we're left with here. Whew. All right. Sorry, my time lapse isn't working on my GoPro. Probably need to get a new one. This one's like 10 years old, but yeah, YouTube hasn't really taken off, so maybe one day. All right, let me get the wheels on. All right, guys, had to change the battery on the camera. Got the other side out. Now, time to put it all back together. Got the sway bar end links to put on. Before that, though, we're gonna definitely put the coil spacers on. I mean, all we really had to loosen or take off even, were the sway bar end links. And I mean, if you're keeping those, you just need to take off the bottom bolt and the bottom bolt on the shocks. Other than that, in the front, everything is still there. Later, to fix the steering wheel, we'll have to loosen the tie rod end. Got that soaking. It's gonna soak up that beautiful can of stuff, and it'll loosen up. But now we're gonna put the coil spacers on. So there's this, pretty much the way that's gonna go is Terraflex has it so you can run either one or two of these. I'm gonna run both, and then I'm gonna put the spring isolator over everything just to help with vibrations, I guess. And then we're gonna put everything back in, and we're gonna put everything back together. We're gonna lower it down. We're gonna see how much taller it is. Hopefully it's pretty even with the back, then we don't touch the back, but chances are it won't be, so then we'll worry about the back then, which is a similar process, similar suspension. It's like a 3-link or 4-link, whatever, I'm not even sure. But right now, drink some coffee, take a minute, and then put it all back together again. Alright, let me get started. Alright, so here we are. Just put it down, jack stands. I gotta drive it around a little bit so it'll settle, which is good, because I mean, right now, I don't really have the lean I thought I was gonna have, so that's good. And once I drive it, it should settle a little bit, and actually should be pretty much exactly how I wanted it, which is 100% even. We'll measure it in a second, and well, let me drive it first, let it settle, then we'll measure it, and we'll see how we're doing. But so far, I'm thinking this is exactly what I wanted. So let me take it around the block, get it to settle a little bit, go over some speed bumps at high rates of speed, and see if it all works how it should. I might have to adjust the steering wheel still. I'm gonna do that in a minute. First, let me drive it. Alright, so this is pretty much where we're at. I mean, it's pretty level. I haven't measured it, but I don't know if we can go up on this side, up an inch. Might be necessary, I think. But, I don't know, trying to weigh the odds and see if it's worth doing now or waiting for spring. We already got all the tools out. It's not that bad outside. It's only like 32. I don't know. I'm gonna drive around, make sure it settles all the way. I was thinking it was gonna settle a little bit more in the front, but I actually like this now too. It's making the need for those 33s or 35s much more relevant. So I gotta get me some 33s or 35s. But yeah, I don't know. Let me drive it around. If we do the rear, I'm gonna go do probably cut out that. If not, then I mean, just in case too, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, and then we'll see what else we do to the cheap Jeep. But we might do the rear right now. I don't know. Let me drive it around a little bit more and see what happens here. Whew. All right. So I got the spacer in there. It's tucked way up there somewhere. Not sure if you can see it. So pretty much all I had to disconnect was the sway bar end links and the shocks. This time around though, the bottom bolt on the other side of the shock was just stuck on there. So I took off the top ones, and luckily they came out pretty good. WD-40 them from the top and from down there, and it wasn't too bad. Got the spacers in. Now I'm gonna put everything back together and then drive it around a little bit, watch it settle, and that's it. I mean, there's no adjusting anything at this point. I mean, installed everything in the kit. We'll measure it up, see how much it changed, and then we'll be done. I still need to tweak the steering wheel. It's about like I don't know, if I had to guess, probably like 1/16 off. It's not a big deal. Most people would just leave it, but it kind of annoys me. So I'm gonna do that. But first, put the back back together and get it back down on its wheels. All right, guys, let me get to it. Alright guys, so I'm editing this video and I'm starting to realize I never recorded the height after the lift. So let's take a look and see if it even changed. So obviously a few weeks later, snowed, terrible. Now we are at, let's see, 6 inches from the tire to the fender flare. We are at 36 and a quarter inches from the ground up to the fender flare. Down here I added some stuff, as you can see, but we are at, to the body line, 18 and a half. And that's for the rear. I mean, sorry, for the front, not the rear. Let's go take a look at the rear. Sorry, I can't find my tripod. It's too cold to go figure this out, so yeah. Alright, so from the tire to the fender flare, looking at roughly 7 and a quarter. 7 and a quarter from tire to the fender flare. 37 from the ground up to the fender flare. And from the ground to the body, looking at 19. So those are going to be our dimensions after. And I'm going to kind of wrap this up right now. It's about, I don't know, it was 0 this morning. I think probably warmed up to like maybe 2, 3. It's a little bit like midday. So this video, what really turned out to be is we unsuccessfully tried to remove the rake of the Jeep, which is kind of a shame. We started off with ½ inch of rake, comparing the front to the back, and then we ended with 3/4 of an inch of rake. So really, we didn't get rid of the rake. We did get a lift though, and it is taller than it was, and I think it looks better. But as far as getting rid of the rake, we didn't really do that. So I'm gonna go back inside before I get pneumonia or something, and figured I'd share with you guys the dimensions after. More videos to come. I've been doing a lot of stuff on the Jeep. It's really been, we've had a lot of cold weather, but gets me out of the house a little bit, and plus, I mean, I want to work on it. So, all right. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.